the Duchess. A bloodthirsty and merciless demon who rules over their own special pocket of hell on Earth is on the hunt for true love. Unfortunately, all of their potential suitors so far have failed to impress and, naturally, now live out eternity in constant torture. Even more unfortunately, this demon now has their sights set on you.
I'm not the victim, I am the system. I'm not in the wrong with my infinite wisdom. Follow my words even if I contradict them. It's my house, Michelle, I'll be the one to evict them. Don't want another demon past the ones within my mind. And it's with that resolution that I'll kill you every time. Change is meaningless, when it gets too close I hit rewind. It's a cycle I'll endure and I will love it till I die. If I'm supposed to change, then riddle me this, why haven't I changed that? Regardless if you alter me, I promise I'm the same threat.
Welcome, angels, demons, and everything in between, to another dungeon-delving, love-seeking, and third-eye-opening episode of You Should Play, a show where I sneak through the demon realm to find the weirdest, spookiest, and most unique indie games for my viewers to fall in love with. This week, it is my absolute pleasure to talk about Sorry We're Closed, a retro survival horror game that pumps the usually dark genre full of vibrant colors, creative gameplay mechanics, genuinely heartwarming writing, stylish punk aesthetics, and as much queer energy as scientifically possible. Grab your trusty axe and prepare for love. It's time to talk about why you should play Sorry We're Closed. Before we get into the stunning style, astounding art direction, and striking story of this indie powerhouse, apologies for all the alliteration, let this be evidence for my doctors to medicate me, let's start with the gameplay. Brandishing a control scheme as sharp as your axe and so many ways to approach its world, Sorry We're Closed is a survival horror experience that both modernizes and breaks away from the blueprints set by the classics. One such break, which greatly lends itself to the game's stellar writing, is the separation and intersection between survival horror and the expansive narrative surrounding this title's diverse cast of characters. Just as protagonist Michelle has to split her time between two different worlds, so too does the player split their time between blasting demons and chatting it up with the denizens of Michelle's burrow. In the survival horror side of things, Sorry We're Closed features a multitude of thematically distinct dungeons throughout the story that the player is tasked with exploring. These dungeons feature the survival horror you know and love, with limited resources, cramped hallways, a blood-pumping boss fight to conclude each adventure, and plenty of creatures stalking you around every corner. Thankfully, you're able to easily move around each of these claustrophobic environments thanks to the full directional movement that many recent survival horror games have blessed players with in recent years. However, there is one big difference that changes the playing field for those new to this genre and veterans alike. The duo of developers for Sorry We're Closed are greedy little goblins who aren't content with only one form of fright for the player, so they decided to combine the best parts of third-person horror with the in-your-face frights of a first-person experience. To achieve this, not only does your camera switch into first-person when you're readying your weapon, the entire combat system is designed around a risk-reward mechanic that heavily encourages the player to get up close and personal whenever possible. Michelle is armed with the Curse of the Third Eye, which acts as both a bridge between worlds and a gateway to a thorough ass-kicking. Snap that third eye open and any monsters within the radius will be briefly stunned, along with revealing juicy weak points to obliterate. However, aside from its small radius, the major drawback of this incredibly useful tool is that you can only hit weak points. Meaning if you miss the point or try to attack something outside the radius, you'll do 0 damage. This one brilliant mechanic turns combat into a dance, encouraging the player to strategically weave their positioning through encounters to balance ammo conservation with the risk of losing health, instead of just letting the player safely gun down enemies from afar. The survival horror side of Sorry We're Closed is already a great game all on its own, with a multitude of uniquely themed dungeons to explore, plenty of monsters to take down, and some light puzzle solving as the cherry on top for fans of this genre. However, this is only a part of the larger gameplay experience, and, as you'll discover, Sorry We're Closed has so much more to offer. Throughout everything this title throws at you, the most important ability given to the player is the power of choice. Throughout Michelle's journey, her choices play a major role in not only her life, but the lives of everyone close to her. While there are major decisions impacting the larger narrative and the kind of ending you're going to get, Sorry We're Closed features several side characters with their own love-related struggles that are woven into Michelle's journey and directly relate to her own plight. Even though these are best described as side quests on paper, the stories of these other characters are just as important and impactful as the main narrative, and their characters, themes, and choices are interconnected with Michelle's own journey. The common theme throughout Sorry We're Closed is love. Every struggle in this story comes back to love, dealing with the absence, protection, fear, understanding, and desperation surrounding that concept. Through the grand fictional stories being told in this adventure, there's a very real connection to the struggles we all face with love. As I'm sitting here writing this script, cat cradled over my shoulder, even just thinking back on what I experienced within this game is making me feel its grasp on my heart all over again. While Sorry We're Closed features multiple endings for the main and side stories, I don't think I could bring myself to attempt the others after my first playthrough. Depending on how you play it, this is a game that will stick with you long after you've rolled the credits. Holding this heart-squeezing package together is a tag team of vibrant punk visuals and head-bobbing beats. The character designs of Sorry We're Closed are a unique brand of stylish, powerfully sexy, and, biblically accurate? Every character has a visually unique and expressive design that fits them well, and their outfits, just like every other facet of the art direction, are dripping with style. Additionally, Sorry We're Closed paints its brilliant retro visuals with a flashy neon color palette to complement these queer punk designs, which also fits right into the game's narrative and in-your-face gameplay. Who said horror had to be all dark hallways and gray landscapes? This flashy and vibrant style is what immediately drew me to the game in the first place. It just looks too good. Keeping in line with the rest of its formula-shattering decisions, Sorry We're Closed features a soundtrack that's part weird atmosphere, which utilizes everything from barking dogs to disembodied moans, and pulse-pounding vocal tracks tailor-made for each boss battle the game throws at you. I found myself completely incapable of sitting still during each of these major fights, and the only downside the soundtrack presented was in making me want to purposefully drag them out to listen to more of each song. All of this is to say that, somehow, Sorry We're Closed breaks every convention from the genre of titles that inspired it, and walks away even stronger for it. There's a tangible passion for the story being told by the developers that crept its way into every facet of the final product, resulting in a title that sucks you into this unapologetically freaky world, and traps your heart within the many conflicts that await you. Even the main antagonist of this story, the immensely complex and ever-present Duchess, was deeply inspired by real-world experiences, which only strengthened their impact on the story and my heart. Overall, I'm deeply impressed by this expansive world that such a small team has created, and with just how strong its foundational lore stands, I found myself craving so many more stories within this hopeful and heartbreaking universe. Every aspect of this flashy title, from the gameplay to the visuals and everything in between, fits together in harmony and builds on each other's strengths, blending to create a world for you to get completely lost in. Which is why you should play Sorry We're Closed. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and a very special thank you to Ala Mode and Akupara for sending this terrific game my way. I meant to have this review out when the game was released, if you can believe it, but there have been a lot of complications over the last few months that wreaked havoc on my schedule. I also got sick again, so that was fun. However, I'm back to relatively full health now, which means you can again find me live streaming weird and spooky games every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. The links for that and many more things can be found in the description below. Please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want more weird in your life, and if you have suggestions for other weird, spooky, and obscure games you want me to stream or talk about, or you want to talk about one that you're making, feel free to send a comment below. I make sure to read every single one. Your YouTube overlord is recommending another one of my videos on the screen now, so check it out if you want, and hey, I'll see you in the next one.